It is 2:15, so we are going to get started. My name is Joe Smizer. I'm the Director of Services and Support at Kincaid IT. A little bit about me. Before joining Kincaid IT 3 years ago, I worked almost a decade for a school district in Kansas. We had about 15,000 users. And while I was on staff there, I worked with a million different hats, just like you do in your school district. But specifically, I focused on security and Google Workspace administration. Today, we are going to take a look at what's new in Google Workspace. So we'll take a look at new features announced this year, and hopefully we see some that will be excited to try out back home when we go home. If you are unfamiliar with us at Kincaid IT, so we are a relatively new organization. Our parent company has been helping schools for the last 60 years or something like that, but we've been focused in helping schools with Google Workspace for Education the last three or four. But as a Google Workspace for Education partner, we're here to help you get the most out of your investment in Google Workspace. And that could be your investment in time or your investment in money. And to that end, we offer professional development for both your technology staff as well as your educators. Some of the more popular courses when it comes to training technology staff would be our admin boot camps. We offer level 1, level 2, and Chrome OS boot camps, as well as workshops on Vault and Looker Studio. That way, if you'd like to brush up on what you know, or maybe you have somebody new starting your team and you'd like them to get that foundation understanding of how to manage things in Google Workspace, you might consider that. Additionally, we've talked a lot today about security and the challenges of maintaining Google Workspace in light of security and other threats. If you'd like some help managing Google Workspace, we offer managed services, email migrations, tech support, and more. And then rounding that off, we have creating Google Workspace for Education licenses, as well as Admin Plus. Admin Plus is a tool that we developed in-house that offers some more powerful ways to take control of what's going on inside the Google Workspace domain. So finding files in the hands of students, particularly you could filter that by, hey, show me all the executable files in the hands of students. Or show me things shared outside the district. On top of that, it also has ticketing. So if you are looking for a new support ticketing system, that ties into both Google Workspace as well as your assets. Admin Plus offers that, as well as workflow management. So some of those common or time-consuming tasks inside of Google Workspace, like onboarding new users, offboarding old users, updating OUs. We can do that in bulk with automation with Admin Plus. It's a separate app altogether, and I'll share the link with everybody through the slide deck, but it's just app.kincaidit.com, and with it, you can manage different things. Our team has over 200 years of combined experience either in the classroom or in school district technology staffing. Again, we feel like that background in art for education, the fact that we've been in your shoes kind of helps separate us and give us that heart and that background to really provide the best support out there. All right, so today we're going to take a look at all sorts of new things inside Google Workspace in the last year. We're going to start with 10 premium features introduced to Google Workspace for Education and Standard, and then we'll discuss 10 new features that are available for all domains. We'll probably touch on a few extra ones as well. I know there's an extra paid one and an extra free one. Because of the time limitation that we have, I don't know that we'll get through all 22 new features, but we'll do the best we can. If not, we'll share the slide deck with you so you can go and look at those in the future as well. And so, on that note, if you'd like to access the slide deck, we've got resources and links inside of the slide deck that will kick you to more information to learn more about visit a class or any other of the other new features we'll talk about. You can access that with the slide deck. Also, if you fill out the form, you'll get entered into a drawing to give away a couple of stress balls at the end. I've tried to hide that the first couple sessions and make people think I've got a better gift for you. I've got 2 stress balls, but we'll give those away at the end of our session today when we're after those. Okay. If you need more time to access that slide deck, I'll give you a couple more moments. Again, you can get there by going to bit.ly/ACOT-what's new. Again, that's bit.ly/ACOT-what's new. Also, I've found through different events this fall, my voice lasts about 4 hours. I'm at 4 hours right now, so if it starts fading out, my apologies. I did the best I can to be as loud as I can be, but we're up against the wall. All right, so let's dive in. Let's talk about new things inside Google Workspace. And as we do that, I'll just highlight this as well. We offer a webinar once a month for Kincaid IT. It's free. It's recorded, so if you want to go back and just catch the recording, you can. We call it the Google Workspace Admin Briefing. It takes a look at all the new features rolled out in the last month. We'll discuss what those new features are, as well as any implications for you, your students, and your domain. And again, that's the Google Workspace Admin Briefing. You can find it at kincaidit.com. So if you love what you go through during this hour and you think, I'd like to spend an extra hour with Joe every month, hey, here's your opportunity. Okay. As we get started, so this year Google has introduced 125 new features to date, with more on the way. What has been your favorite new feature so far in Google Workspace? If you're not sure when it started, that's fine, or when a new feature came out, but what's been your favorite feature recently inside of Google Workspace? Is there anything you like in Google Workspace? I'll give you a moment to think about that while I shut the door.
I would say one that we use most recently is being able to visit a class.
Visit a class?
So we don't have to ask for permission. Or if we had a teacher that's been out or something, we can actually go put the sub in for that.
For sure. Yep, and that's actually going to be the first one we talk about is visit a class. That's a good one. Do they have another?
The PDF toolkit, they have any docs.
Okay. Can you speak to that more? What do y'all like about that?
I'm not gonna lie to you, I went to the this morning, I checked it out, so.
Okay, fair enough. That works.
It's the, within the gallery app on Chromebooks, we're doing create a freehand signature used within the PDF.
Nice. Yeah, and there's some other exciting new things coming soon when it comes to PDFs and signatures as well. Yeah, it'll be nice when that comes out. All right. Just show of hands, how many people have Google Workspace for Education Standard or Plus or something like that? Okay, how many do not have any of those? You just have the free fundamentals plan. Okay. All right, so let's dive in. We're gonna start with 10 new features included with Google Workspace for Education Plus, and then again, we'll pivot and we'll talk about 10 new features that are available, regardless of the level of licensing that you have. And so with that, we'll start with Visit a Class. Just like we talked about a second ago, I think it's one of those most exciting, most useful new features out there. And so with Visit a Class, you can give your principals, your learning coaches, other curriculum leaders access to all the different Google Classrooms in your domain. And so thinking through this, there we go. What we would run into from time to time when I worked at a school district is, let's imagine that Monday morning, we get a call at the help desk from like the assistant principal at the high school. And they're saying, hey, this teacher had a family emergency that had to leave town in the middle of the night. They weren't able to give us or the substitute teacher access to their Google Classroom. So what do we do? How do we give the sub or the assistant principal access to their Google Classroom? What options do we have?
Before this?
Yep, before this. Yeah, we had a couple options. I don't know that either were great.
Yeah, I know we used to try to connect with the teacher and give them, tell them to put either us or the assistant principal in.
Yep.
That was pretty much our solution.
Yeah, we could do that. We could hack into their account, which isn't really a best practice. We could also, let's see if I have this set up. We could also use GAM. GAM could do it. We could print off their class and then add somebody to the class as a co-teacher. But if this doesn't look like a lot of fun to you, then what we can do is we can use Google's new Visit a Class feature. And so what we're gonna do, I'll slide over to the admin console, we'll walk through this. Let me close out of GAM from last session. I'll get signed in here. All right, so with Visit a Class, again, our idea is we want to share access to a Google Classroom with a substitute teacher, a learning coach, anyone else who needs access. And so what we're going to do, I'll demonstrate this, what it looks like, and then we'll also go in and we will show you how to set it up. And so I'm going to go to classroom.google.com, and I'm going to switch accounts because I have not set up this account to use it. And then my Wi-Fi will drop. Okay, give me one moment.
I can also say it's not on the free version.
It's not, nope.
And if you're late getting your PO signed, they drop your account down to the free version until you're signed, so that
Yeah.
goes away.
All right, and so I'll go in over here on visit a class, almost like visit a class. And so let's imagine I need to visit Alex Busby's class. He's got a class, I need to share access with that class with somebody else. I can come in, I'm gonna search by name or email address of either the teacher or student. I'll say Alex in this case. And now I can see every class that he teaches as well as every class that he's a student of. And so I'll select his Algebra 2 class. I need to give a justification for visiting this. I'm gonna add or remove people in this case, or I can just put in a message. What's gonna end up happening is it's gonna log that and then it's going to give me a 2-hour window where I can be inside of his class. And I can actually see this up here. I've got a 2-hour window here for this. And while I have access to this class, I can do anything the teacher can do except change the owner. So I can post assignments, I can grade assignments, I can add people to the class, remove people from the class, do anything I want except change the owner of the class. Only the teacher can change the owner of the class. And so again, this is Visit a Class. It's a feature with Google Workspace for Education Plus. If we want to set this up, going into the admin console, it requires a custom admin role for that. And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drop down over on the left-hand side, I'm going to select Accounts, and admin roles, and I'll just demonstrate how we can do this real fast. So I'll create a new one. I'm just gonna call this Visit a Class. You can also set this up by OU. So if you want to give someone access to only the classes at their high school, you can set that up through here as well. That way, you know, we've got a learning coach at LHS and they only need access to those classes at LHS. You can customize that as well. I'll just say Visit a Class. And then through there, this is going to list off every different admin role inside of Google Workspace. What I'm looking for is manage class. Come on. There we go. No, it's Google Play. We'll keep going. Come on, Classroom. All right, we'll just look for Classroom instead. There we go. There's manage classes. And so they just need that one admin role. We'll get it selected, then we'll get this created. Then all we have to do is add people to that admin role. And now Visit a Class is set up. So again, they need to have a premium license and they need to be a member of that group. After that, or of that custom admin role, after that, they can go in and manage these classes. And you don't have to worry about, you know, hacking into accounts anymore or using the app. All right, any questions about Visit a Class? Sweet. All right, instructions are on the slide deck that we gave you, so you can set those up if you want to. As we keep going, our second one that we're going to talk about today is practice sets. Does anybody use practice sets in their school? Couple? Asked about it. Okay. Has anybody seen it? Cool. Let's take a look then. So with practice sets, essentially what we're going to do is it's going to take the standard, boring, you know, PDF worksheet that students are using or staff are using right now, and it's going to elevate it into something way more engaging and dynamic thanks to the magic of Google. And so what we're going to see here, hopefully. Okay, while that loads, we'll just demonstrate it live and it's gonna work great. So we're gonna do, I'm gonna go back to Google Classroom and I can select practice sets here. And so what practice sets allows us to do, and I'll create a new one here. Probably. There we go. All right, so what we're gonna do, we need to create a question here. What's a good question for us to use on our sample assignment here? All at once. All right, we'll stay simple here. We'll say, what is 2 plus 2? My background's in theology, but I can handle what's 2 plus 2. Skills, we'll say addition. What's nice is when we select skills down here, we'll see this in a moment as we keep building this out, it's going to suggest resources and videos for students if they get stuck during the practice set, during the assignment. Because we're tagging these skills down here at the bottom, the students will be able to have access to recommended resources. And if the teacher doesn't like the AI generated resources, they also have the opportunity to create their own or upload their own. And that's due in the last month or so, is the ability for the teachers to upload their own as well. And so we've got 2 plus 2. Our answer is 4. And then through there we can tag relevant skills or upload resources with it. As we try this out, I'm gonna select try as a student. I've got practice sets. I can annotate this, so maybe I wanna show my work. I can also write into this. If I say 3, I'll check my work. Oh, didn't get it right. And so it gives me the light bulb hint icon on the top right corner, so I can select show hints. And now I can see this information, helping me get back on track. I'll try this again real fast, and we'll try to get it right this time. I'll clear it out. And so I can say 4. I'll check my work again. That's gonna give me the green check mark, and that's gonna give me the fun confetti animation as well. I've got the positive affirmation, hey, I got this right. So 1, that worksheet's more engaging. 2, if they get stuck, they've got some resources to help them get back on track. But then 3, there's also some advanced stuff that the teacher's gonna see on the back end of this, giving them relevant data for that assignment. And so they can see at a quick glance, you know what, 95% of the class missed question 3. Either I did a really poor job of explaining question 3, or it's a bad question. And so either way, they can have access to those analytics in a couple clicks as well. And what's nice is, say you have a couple power users in your school who get to be really good at making these, they can duplicate these and send them out to the rest of your staff as well. And so this is practice sets inside of Google Classroom. All right, any questions about that before we keep going? All right, it says practice sets in Google Classroom. And again, essentially the magic of Google transforming something that was a boring PDF into something more insightful. All right. And again, how do I access practice sets? I think this is worth talking about. 1, your educators need to be a verified member of the Classroom Teachers Group. If you're unfamiliar with it, my assumption is a lot of us are familiar with it, but for permissions inside Google Classroom, you have to be a member of that Classroom_Teachers Group in your district. Your educators have to be verified members. And in that group, there are a couple options. There's verified and then there's pending. Typically, we recommend schools don't even allow that pending option, just set it to verified only, because if you set it to pending and students ask to join, they're considered pending members while you're waiting to go in and deny their pending membership. And this is something that I'll caution you on from experience. We did not have these students get added as pending members. We actually accidentally nested our all user group inside of our all staff group, which allowed all of our students to create Google Classrooms. They took that and ran with it and created something like 700 classrooms, as students are prone to do. And believe it or not, they did not create those classrooms to learn more. They created them to chat with their friends and bully other kids. And we got to spend the summer cleaning up those rogue Google Classrooms. And so, again, I would encourage you to pay attention to those classrooms that exist in your domain, if for no other reason than not falling into the same trap that we fell into. And so again, how do I set up practice sets? Make sure your educators are a part of that verified member group, and make sure that they have a premium license, the Google Workspace for Education Plus license, or the Teaching and Learning Upgrade. All right, as we keep going, we've got email marketing tools inside of Gmail, and I think this is one that is often overlooked. There are a couple tools in here that can make this really, really nice for your educators. The first is Mail Merge, and we'll demonstrate this a little bit. So the ability to create customized messages and things like that to send out to our users. I'll highlight this. The limitation here is 1,500 recipients, and I believe they have to be in domain for Mail Merge to work. I'll double check on that one, but I'm pretty sure it has to be in domain users. And then the other feature that goes with this is branded email layouts, where you can select pre-built templates. All you have to do is update the color and the logo and contact information, and now you've got a newsletter that's ready to go out in a couple of clicks. And so we'll take a look at this. I'm going to go to Gmail to open this. If you can't see it, you need me to make it bigger, just let me know. All right, so I'm going to go to Compose, and I'll make this bigger. Let me see if I can't zoom in for you as well. There we go. So what we're looking for down at the bottom is, oh, did I zoom in too far? Signature. Let me change domain, change users. Probably have to have a license. Always about licenses. There we go. We'll say Compose again, and I'll make this bigger so we can see. And so what I'm looking for now as we get down here is select a layout. And so we can use any of these pre-built layouts. Again, what's nice is we can set the default styling with the logo and contact information and custom branding, so it looks like it's coming from us. And when we hit save, it's going to stay that way indefinitely, so we don't have to recreate this every single time. We can also set default footer links and links as well for social media. But let's just say that I want to get started with this e-newsletter. I can hit start, and I can come in, and from there, all I have to do is just select the different boxes and update them. So if I want to update this photo, all I have to do is select the photo and select change photo, copy and paste in some text, and away we go. So we've got our newsletter that's ready to go out. Mail merge, the e-newsletter, as well as a couple other features that are new that I'll mention real fast. It's not in the slide deck, but another feature I really, really like is the ability to live stream directly from Google Meet to YouTube. So maybe you have an open house or you have a school board meeting or something you want to live stream. You can do that with Google Meet to go directly from Meet to YouTube with a premium license. But all of these are customizable by OU. So if you want to turn those off by OU, you can. Maybe for these email layouts, you just turn them on for your staff and not for students. Again, the option's up to you with those. All right, the other option, and I meant to show that before I close the window, is up here, this use mail merge. When I select this, I can use mail merge just by default. It's going to look at my contacts, so I can say dear first name, it'll automatically know the first name, and I'm good there. But I can also have it reference a spreadsheet through here. So let's imagine we have a back to school email that we want to send out to our students. We can have it reference all sorts of different information from the spreadsheet, and we can say, all right, dear student, your locker number is this locker, your combination is this combination, your first hour class or mentor for the building is this person. That way we can have it custom pre-fill all these different fields. We don't have to send a custom email for each student. We can just use these tags. And again, all I have to do is come in and say, dear first name, and we can just fill in the blanks through there. And so again, this is mail merge inside of Gmail. It's going to be really useful. Okay, continuing on, we've got read-along app integration. Does anybody use the read-along app? Not you personally, but your students in your school. You all do? Okay. So Google is in the process of rolling out this feature. Some of this is rolled out now, so it's going to be rolled out by the end of the year. But with the read-along app, we now have the ability to directly integrate that into Google Classroom. And so thinking through this, not only do we have the ability to send out different assignments and books for them to read, but their metrics are going to come back for the teacher to see all in one nice, easy to use spot. So reading level, what they read, what they struggled with, all this is custom tailored and comes back to the teacher so that they can better tailor the learning as well as have individualized learning for those students.
Is that app free or is it?
I believe it is. Yeah, I can't say for certain. I've never used that one, but yeah, the integration comes with Education Plus. All right. So we've got interactive questions for YouTube. This is another one that Google rolled out over the summer. They made several new exciting announcements at ISTE over the summer. But with this, we can take YouTube videos and we can make them more engaging for the classroom so we can measure student understanding. What this does, again, we're gonna have a little fun with Wi-Fi again, but what's gonna do is it's gonna help us reinforce those core concepts with interactive questions. These questions are automatically generated by Google's AI based on the content of the video, but this is another thing that staff will eventually have the ability to upload their own questions as well. And again, we can kind of see a video of it down there where teachers can create their own questions or select and edit the questions that AI generated automatically, and students can check their understanding as they watch as well. While we're on the topic of YouTube, has anybody struggled this year with the YouTube URL and privacy and filtering and stuff like that? Anybody? No? You? Yeah. So, I think it was in the spring, Google released a new domain for education YouTube videos. It was like YouTube EDU or something like that. That way we could add it to our filter and it would automatically get the appropriate permissions and everything else. That feature wasn't quite ready for prime time, and Google has rolled that back. And so if you set up those custom permissions for that new URL, you actually have to roll back to whatever permissions you used last year, which is a little frustrating, but Google wants to make sure that they get that right. And so I'd imagine sometime next year we'll roll that out again and it'll work better, but in the interim, yeah, if you run into issues, just roll back to whatever settings you used a year ago. All right. Another one, it's not earth-shattering, but it's nice to have. Google Meet meetings as well as Google Meet recordings are now in HD. Again, you have to have a premium Google Workspace for Education license for that to work, but everything you show will now be in HD. Your camera, if it supports it, will now be in HD, as well as the recordings and group meetings are now in HD. And this is something that they've rolled out in pieces over the course of the year, where it was originally, hey, one-on-one meetings are in HD, then it was group meetings, then it was the content we were displaying, until eventually just about everything inside Google Meet is now in high definition. Continuing on, so we can see, I mean, pretty straightforward with that. Some improvements to context-aware access. Does anybody use context-aware access at their school? No. Okay, that's like my favorite feature, and no one really uses it. So I'm going to get on my soapbox and tell you about it for a moment. If you've been in my sessions before, I recognize I've talked about it before, and so you're probably going to hear it for the third or fourth time today, but I like it that much. So context-aware access allows you to create policies that take a look at geolocation, IP address, IP range, device security, and more, and allows you to create custom sign-in policies based on that information. And so, like on your screen, let's imagine we want to block logins from overseas. We can do that with context-aware access. We can also be more specific. We can do it by app. So maybe we want to block overseas logins into the admin console. That's a rule we can set up with context-aware access. And again, that can be really useful because what we've seen are some of the more recent ransomware attacks like Zeppelin. They communicate with foreign IPs. So if we want to block foreign IPs, we can do that with the geo-block, or maybe we follow like CISA updates and other security updates, and we know, hey, this IP address is being used all the time with this threat. We can take that, add it to the context-aware access rule, and it's going to be blocked moving forward. And again, we can be as complex with this as we want. I'll try not to go as in depth with this story as I've shared a couple times before, but say we want to block part-time staff from signing into Gmail when they're at home, we can do that by specifying, all right, here's our in-district IP range. If anybody from that OU tries to connect from outside of that IP range, we're going to block access to X, Y, and Z. So to complement that, Google has released a couple of additional new features with context-aware access. The first is with third-party app access. So now we can better tailor these rules to control third-party apps in our domain. The other nice thing that they've rolled out is what they call context-aware access monitor mode. That way we can see what's going on with these policies. It can be very easy to accidentally lock a lot of people out of your domain if you set these up incorrectly. So with monitor mode, you get the full glimpse of, okay, this is what this rule is going to do before I actually put it in place. And then again, obviously as a best practice with any rule like this, I would encourage you to set it up in like an audit-only rule first. Then once we're comfortable with how it's being used, we can add some teeth to that rule. But again, that's context-aware access. All right. Any questions about the last couple?
Would a VPN bypass, like as someone logging into your domain?
Yeah, in that case it would. This feature is still kind of in its infancy. It's only been out for maybe a year at the most. And so I'd imagine moving forward, Google will add not just geolocation, but also, what kind of connection is this coming from? Is it coming from a VPN or proxy or something like that? Because I know other firewalls and different things will automatically detect that. I'd imagine this will eventually. It's just not there yet. Good question. Because I wouldn't want to go through and specify every single IP range for every single proxy. It'd be a mess. But at the same time, if you start catching on, all right, the students are doing this, then this is an option where you can say, all right, I know the students are using, I don't know, I haven't used a VPN in a while, but they're using whatever, we could find whatever that is and then specify the IP range. Good question. Anything else? All right, we'll keep going. Additionally, we'll talk about some new features inside of Google Classroom. We talked about the core new features with Visit a Class and Practice Sets, and those are exciting. A couple other ones that are out there, the ability to make lesson planning easier with shareable class templates and shareable class work. That way your users can share their resources, share their classes easier than they have in the past. The other new feature with this is the expanded grading systems in Google Classroom. So if your school uses a custom grading scale, I know the one that I used to work at and that my kids are at right now uses an unconventional grading format. It's not ABC, it's a totally random group of letters. If y'all do that, great, you now have the ability to set this up inside Google Classroom. And so that could be updating by numerical grade, letter grade, proficiency, 4-point, or whatever you want to use. Additionally, I can't remember if I made it a slide for this or not, but there's also the ability to turn off late assignments. This is something that's been requested forever inside Google Classroom. There's now a toggle, and it's available regardless of edition you have, the ability to turn off assignment submission after the due date. That way, again, you can see at a quick glance when these students turned it in, and you can block late submissions if you need to. All right, a couple more. One is e-signature for Google Docs and Drive, and again, this is coming soon. It's in beta right now. There's a link in the slide deck to that beta if you want to sign up for it, but when it comes out, it's going to be available with Education Plus. And so with this, we can create documents for signatures as well as send them out with document requests and have that workflow all through Google Docs or Google Drive. We can see a workflow of it on the screen right now if we can get it to play. Yeah, it's not going to play. But we get that idea where, you know, sometimes we need to send different things off to get signatures back. This will allow us to do that. And again, this is coming soon, and the beta, if you want to sign up for it or try it out, is on this link right here. Again, this is e-signature for Google Docs and Drive. All right, and then lastly, we have Duet AI. This doesn't actually fit into Google Workspace for Education Plus because it's a separate thing altogether and it's a separate cost altogether. But with Duet AI, we can get access to generative AI inside of Google Workspace. So similar to some of the things that we can do with like ChatGPT, it can be directly embedded into your Google Workspace experience. And so what this looks like, maybe we want to use it to help write or refine an email. We can do that. We can also have it summarize an email that we received, which is kind of an interesting AI loop there. We can have AI read and write our emails for us. I don't know where that leaves the human in that case, but with that, we can also have it write, refine, and proofread content in Google Docs. We can also use it to create content on the fly too. So, you know, maybe I want to create a job description for a new building tech. I can just have it type in, all right, create job description for support technician, and it'll do the rest. Obviously, I'd have to custom tailor it to meet the expectations and needs of the institution. But if I'm just looking for a building block, it will do that for me. Some other options, generate original images for your presentations directly in slides. So maybe you're creating a slideshow on, gosh, I don't have a good example. We'll say football. You can have it create custom images for you based on, I think there are 8 or 9 different styles you can select, like minimalist or vivid color, different things like that, illustrations. That way it can create these graphics for you. Create plans for projects in Sheets. Look your best in Google Meet. So with that studio mode in Google Meet, it'll polish your appearance. So if you're concerned about that, it can clean up your appearance inside Google Meet. Generate background images directly in Google Meet, as well as use translated captions in Google Meet. And this is one, I wish there was better information on what exactly is supported with this edition versus Education Plus versus the free version. Because one of the features I really, really like about Google Meet is live translated closed captions. This gives you access to some languages. Google Education Plus, for now, gives you access to most languages. Eventually that will fade away in a couple of years, I think. But, yeah, with live translated closed captions, I'll just mention that real fast. Let's imagine that you have a family in your school district where English is not the primary language. Maybe they speak Spanish or something like that at the house. You can do a parent-teacher conference with them on Meet, and as the teacher speaks in English, it will automatically be translated in the closed captioning to one of over a dozen languages. So the parent can stay involved, and as the parent speaks in Spanish, it can automatically be translated back into English for the staff person. And so that's live translated closed captioning in Google Meet. I think it's a great way to tear down some different communication barriers in our school districts. Okay. Any questions about those paid features? All right. So my company would love to sell you those licenses, but at the same time, I don't make a ton of money off that. I don't receive any money on if you buy licenses or not. So I'm not going to be overly pushy on that. If you have questions, great. I'd love to support you with that. But if not, we can move forward and talk about the free features. Anything else? Cool. All right. So we've got 20 or so minutes left. We'll take a look quickly at 10 features available for all Google Workspace domains, regardless of the license that you have. As we look at this, we'll get started with third-party app controls. We talked about this briefly in our first session today, but as I go back to the admin console, Google used to be telling me that there were third-party app changes that were coming. You give me a yellow box here. For me, this has turned from yellow to red. Yours may still be yellow, telling you that these changes are coming. So Google told us that these third-party app changes were going to be coming and enforced October 23rd of 2023. What they really meant when they said that was they were going to start the changes on that day. And so some schools have those changes implemented then. Google's rolling out those changes over the course of November. And so if yours still says, hey, these changes are coming soon, they are. You just kind of have to be patient with it. And so once you see that red, users under 18 can no longer access unconfirmed apps, your domain's been updated there. But again, the benefit with this is we'll have way better security and insight into what's going on inside of our domain, and we know what our users are authenticating into with their school credentials. And this can be kind of telling if you go and look at the third-party app list and see what your users are using there. Lots of really good resources and lots of stuff that really has no use inside of a educational environment. So yeah, pornographic websites, gambling websites, all sorts of different things like that that our users have used to sign in with their school credentials. Probably an opportunity for some professional development. Okay, continuing on, some new calendar booking options. So inside of Google Calendar, this is another feature that I really like if you haven't tried it out yet. You can create bookable links. That way, hey, I'm going to do parent-teacher conferences on Friday, for example. My cursor, there it is. I can come in, drag the range that I want to do this, and from there, after the infinite pop-ups, I can come over and I can select appointment time slots. And so I'm going to create these appointment time slots between 8 and 4:15. I can also customize how this works by going in to set this up. And so from here, I can set my appointment duration, where I've got 15, 30, 45 minutes, 1 hour. Google is releasing some new features when it comes to this over the next couple of weeks, where this would be a really nice feature to use with parent-teacher conferences. But what we've heard is most parent-teacher conferences last 10 minutes. And so how do we set this up if we have all this wasted time? It really doesn't fit. Now we're on the moving to some other resource or some other third-party tool. Google's going to be updating this, and I think it's now going to have options from 4 minutes individually all the way up to 15 minutes. So if you want to set this up in 10-minute chunks, 5-minute chunks, whatever, that's going to be an option for you. Additionally, with this, you'll also be able to collect payment for here as well. What's that?
Is that now what custom is at the bottom?
Well, maybe. No? 5. 5 is the lowest.
Okay.
In the past, the lowest was 15. And so they've been rolling this out over the last couple weeks. But again, that's going to be appointment scheduling there. And then again, you can also process payments through this as well. I have a tough time thinking of a great use case for K-12, but if you ever needed to, that's out there. It integrates with Stripe. What's really nice about this is you get one bookable link that you can forward out to all your parents in this case. They can select that, and as they select an appointment, it falls away, and no one will be able to re-book that appointment. The other nice thing is you can specify if you're meeting in person or in Google Meet. If you select Google Meet, it'll automatically create that individualized Google Meet link for you. That can be really nice because typically what gets discussed in parent-teacher conferences can be pretty sensitive. You wouldn't want parents joining early and seeing what was going on with a student that wasn't their own. And so again, that's Google Meet. New features in Google Meet. And Google Meet. All right. Additionally, some new features when it comes to Canvas. This is going to be really limited to users who have Canvas as their LMS. But Google rolled out some new features in partnership with Canvas where you can better collaborate directly through the LMS. what they're calling collaborations in Canvas. Just an extra way that you can make Google more engaging inside of that LMS there. Again, I think it's one of those things, it'll probably make sense and probably get rolled out to other LMSs in the future, but Google started with Canvas with this one. Okay. Just real fast, what LMSs do y'all use? Where do you use one? Canvas, Clever? Clever? Okay.
Well, we don't really use Clever yet. We just haven't pushed it out to everything yet.
Just curious, there is one LMS that has been a real pain for a lot of our customers here at Kincaid IT. If you're on the market for an LMS, maybe don't go with Fax. Just tossing that out there. If you want to, great, but we've had a lot of issues with that. Also, if you work for Fax or you have stock in it, I apologize. I don't mean that. I'm sure there are lots of great things it does, but it's been a real chore getting it to sync with Google. And I'd say, I don't know, a quarter of our tickets directly tie back to Fax. And one, we don't support Fax, and two, come on, it's only a third of our, or 3% of our customers actually use it. For it to be creating that many tickets, something tells me that something's up there. All right, anywho, improved controls for potential spam inside of Google Drive. So with this, you now have greater visibility with spam view in Drive. This is going to be a new option in the menu on the left-hand side there of Google Drive. I think it's out already. This is something that would have been announced back during the summer, and I think it's available now. But that way, you'll have the ability to better protect you, your files, your users from things that look like dangerous or unwanted files. And this is something that the end user can do, where they can drag their files into spam, and it will clean that up for them automatically. All right. This is another one that we touched on already, the ability to control data assignments inside Google Classroom. If you'd like to learn more about it, we've got a link down here on the lower left-hand side. But again, through this, we'll be able to better manage student work by disabling submissions after a specific date. Again, this is a feature that's been requested a ton by educators over the last several years. All right, so quickly going through a few others that I wanted to talk about real fast. Improved communication options inside of Google Classroom. So now inside of Google Classroom, you'll be able to tie in rich text editing and inline replies so that these conversations, these chat messages, these commenting, it's way more engaging and way more interactive. So within Classroom, you can enhance class and private comments by formatting text to be bolded, italicized, underlined, or laid out. Again, this is another thing that educators have been asking for a long time inside of Google Classroom, because as you start looking at assignments, typing in instructions, it'd be great to be able to tie in bulleted lists, numerical lists, other different formatting. That way it's easier for the students to see what's going on. Now we have the rich text ability to do that. We also have an improved layout of classroom notification emails to make it easy to understand what's actually most important instead of just getting flooded by every single message. And teachers and students can reply to comments right through email. That goes back into a feature inside of Gmail. Most schools have it turned on, that dynamic email setting inside of Google Admin Console. Just make sure that's on. Most people have it on. If you turn it off by accident, this feature of being able to respond inline to emails will be turned off. But again, the ability to respond directly to messages directly through email, so you don't have to jump into Google Classroom. Save clicks, save time. All right. A couple others. New Google for Education App Hub. So you now have the ability to leverage apps that connect with Google Workspace for Education to offer more personalized learning experiences for students and teachers, and simpler setup for your school administrators. So through this, again, we see app licensing, easy to manage and push out app licensing when it comes to things like Adobe Express. I know managing some of those Adobe licenses and getting them pushed out can be a bit of a chore, as well as streamlining class and grade integrations with student information systems like Infinite, Clever, Follett, Skyward. If you notice, that one that I mentioned a moment ago is not on that list. Seamlessly integrate teaching tools into assignments with classroom add-ons. All more, that way you have a trusted list of apps and resources that you know work and that you know are safe and that you know are easy to use for your staff. Okay. A couple other ones. This is pretty straightforward in the scheme of things. But if you haven't seen it yet, you also have the ability to pin things inside of the navigation, inside the admin console. So if you are, I don't know, maybe you're the email network analyst for your domain, or maybe you're in charge of security, or you just always find yourself in the organizational units page, you can pin any of these pages inside the admin console. And so, for example, maybe I'm really concerned for whatever reason about BigQuery export. I can select it and pin it. Here we go. And now it's going to get pinned up to the top. I can pin up to 5. And so this is pinning different menu items inside of the admin console. If I'm tired of it or I need to get rid of it, all I have to do is hover over it, select unpin, and my menu goes back to the way it was. So that's pinning inside of the admin console. A couple others as we wrap up today. Alert Center notifications for Apple push certificates. So if you don't renew the Apple Push Notification Service APNS certificate annually, your organization's iOS devices won't be able to access Google Workspace apps. So to help you stay on top of that and the renewal period, Google now integrates this notification of warning window directly into the Alert Center. So you'll receive an update. Hey, this is going to expire in 30 days. This is going to expire in 10 days. This is going to expire tomorrow. We need to get after it. And so all this is going to be available through the Alert Center, and you can also receive email notifications for this. That way we can better easily manage those iOS devices inside of our school districts. And then lastly, the ability to gain greater control and visibility with additional blog and event data in classroom and assignments. And we can find that with this link here. The last one that I'll mention is passwordless sign-in. If you haven't seen it or heard about it yet, what it does is it allows you to sign in without a password directly into Google. It saves those credentials on your device. As long as you have a commonly used device that's been updated in the last couple of years, as well as a modern browser like Chrome, you'll be able to use this feature. Again, it's off by default, but you can turn it on for your users if you want to. What Google's been saying is it decreases the login time by like 50%, and it also makes the sign-in process something like 75% more secure. So quicker and more secure, but again, if you're using Clever, I'd argue go with Clever. Yeah.
Can you turn the auto log off in the Google admin side, so 40 minutes, no matter what I'm doing.
Oh, you get kicked off within 40 minutes? I'd imagine that goes back to the session link. I don't know if that parrots by that or not.
I was like, no matter, I've been using it constantly, 45 minutes. Log in again, and I gotta go back and figure out where I'm at.
So outside of, signing in all the time, has the process worked okay? Okay. All right. So we have just a few minutes left. As we wrap up today, what questions can I answer when it comes to Google Workspace? This is Google Workspace. Ask anything. Doesn't have to be about new features or licensing or anything like that. How can I help you? All right. Then we'll give away some stress balls here. Let's see. All right, I need somebody to pick a number between 1 and 22 for me.
17.
17. All right, so that's going to be Michael Foy. Where's Michael at? Sweet. Okay, I need one more.
2.
2. Okay. How about Tyra? We have Tyra? Okay, how about another?
5.
5. All right, 5's going to go to, is it Alicia?
No, but
Alicia. How do you say?
Alicia.
Alicia, I'm sorry.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. That's all I've got today. I've got one more session here if you want to stick around and learn about Chrome OS. If not, I think we've got one more session today, right?
Yes.
Starting. What time was this supposed to be? We're going to end up a few minutes early. I hope you're okay with that. What's that?
The next session, 3:30, is that right?
Perfect. Yep. All right. So you got asked a couple minutes early. Next session starts at 3:30. Thank you for joining me today.